welcome back to the No Cut Sports Podcast with your host, Niall Frazier. And today we got a few things we need to talk about. But if you like the Philadelphia Eagles like I do, please, if you could for me, like, comment, and subscribe to always catch this vibe, man. Y'all already know. Once again, shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles as they go 3-0 this past week, trying to make it 4-0 with the Tampa Bay. We're going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are also 3-0. It should make for a very good game, as you know. Eagles always have a hard time against Tampa Bay. It seems that Todd Bowles has, Jalen Hurts in the Eagles' number. So we're going to see this week. As you did know, or if you don't know, and if you didn't get a chance to watch this game, also go back and watch. We had the Mean Green podcast with me and Mr. Reggie, and we talked about the game and all the mishaps and the glorious ending that it had. But we did talk about that, so if you could for me, go back and watch that. Give us some likes, comments, whatever the case may be. But then also go follow Mr. Reggie on Bet on Yourselves Media Sports on YouTube. So shout out to my guy, Mr. Reggie. This week really kind of showed us some things, I will say, with this previous game going into this next game with Tampa Bay. And it's going to be the tale of, two stories, because in one half you look like nothing, and in the second half of the game y'all come back, win the game. JD has to perform damn near a miracle to secure the win, and we greatly appreciate that. But we do know that we cannot continue on playing like this with the talent on this team. Just coming off the Super Bowl win, it's the core of the team is still here, and a lot of the coaches and things like that are still here. I know the only thing that I can really say with the offense that really has changed is the departure of Kellen Moore and Doug. Is it Doug Nasemeyer? I want to say his name. I always say his last name wrong. But those two guys leaving, going to New Orleans, and then you have Kevin Patullo step in, and then, oh man, what's Buddy's name? I think he came from Bowling Green, coaching. I think he's a coach from Bowling Green, one of the college or whatever the case may be. I can't remember right now, but I do apologize. But so that's the only thing that really has changed on the offensive side to me. I just feel like with Kevin Patullo being in this building as long as he has been, I felt like we should be getting a little bit more out of this offense. Now, on one side of it, the Philadelphia Eagles don't play their starters in the preseason, so you usually do have these slow starts trying to find the identity of the team, you know what I mean, and expand on that. But with all that just happened this past week, as you know, they don't want to talk about it, but this team is trying to repeat if they can. I feel like they think that they have the tools. They just did it. So I don't. That's not a doubt in my mind. But what Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown said in their press conferences after the game kind of led me to believe that they're kind of being restrained in the offense, or the offense is just being restrained. Now, I don't know if it's because they feel like Jalen Hurts can't get the job done, which I don't know why that would be a question in our minds. But Kevin Patullo's been around long enough. He should understand what he has. I know everybody want to make the comparison. He has a Ferrari, whatever the case may be, and that's all good and dandy. But everybody don't know how to drive. We also gotta remember that this is Kevin Patullo's first time calling plays. Yes, he's been around and he's came up with things, helping Kellen Moore and all that good stuff with the game plan or the offensive plan, week in and week out. But we have to try and give him some time, but then also make sure he's doing what he needs to do, adapting his game plan, because we don't want to have a coach or a mindset where, we're just going to stick with this and that's it. Nah, man, if you see it's not working, like this first half, you see it wasn't working, you came out the second half, you adapted, and look how many points y'all put up. Y'all came back from a 19-point deficit. Now, you don't want to get into these types of games with different teams and trying to play the comeback game when you have all this talent on the team. So, I'm expecting, I was going to say Kellen Moore, Kevin Patullo. I'm expecting Kevin Patullo to come out here, show us and pick up where he left off in that second half. If they resort back to the original game plan or what he's been trying to do, which didn't really lead to no points, because I felt like since the beginning of the season, I thought the Dallas game was okay, but it wasn't good enough. The Chiefs game was it shouldn't be this rough, and then Rams game, but we ultimately end up winning. So I can't complain too much, but I feel like Kevin Patullo is still trying to get his feet wet. I feel like he's making it a little bit harder than he needs to be, or it needs to be. But all in all, I feel like the team, Jalen Hurts, the guys are going to, tell them like, yo, this is what we need to be doing to win these games. So, long as we go out here, like I said, and we pick up where we left off in the second half offensively, I don't see why we can't win this game. Like I said, I know Tampa Bay usually has the Eagles and Jalen Hurts number. They got a good pass rush. Hassan Reddick's there, so we'll get to see him. But overall, I just think that the Philadelphia Eagles have more talent. They're better coached, all the way around, man. So if they can just put it together, I think we should be able to win this game, man. So let's get more into this. So, sorry, my mouse is moving here. The injury report that I do have, and please, I think the updated one comes out later on today. But the Eagles injury report I have right here are the cornerback, which is an issue that we do need to talk about. The Eagles face a potential depleted cornerback corpse. Dory Jackson is listed questionable with a groin injury, and Jacorian Bennett, which is his backup, is also dealing with injury concerns. I did like the way Jacorian Bennett played this past week when he did come in for Dory Jackson. I was hoping to see him as the CB2 in this upcoming game, but it seems to be that probably both of them will be missing this game. So other questionables we have is Will Shipley, who could be possibly returning, Darius Cooper, who is questionable with a shoulder, Lane Johnson, neck is questionable, Tanner McKee backup is also questionable, and as y'all know, Nakobe Dean is out. And then we have the Buccaneers injury report. The biggest one with them is Mike Evans is expected to miss the game with a hamstring injury. They have Chris Godwin, who has been out with an ankle injury, has had a strong chance to return, so we might see him. Tristan Wirfs, that's the left tackle, all right? He's questionable. He's been out. I think he's been out since the beginning of the season. He's supposed to be out 4 weeks, so we'll see. This is the 4th week, so if they try to bring him back, that's on them. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to rush a player back. So their tight end, I can't say his last name, Kafet, is on IR, not available, and Christian Azine, safety, is questionable. So Tampa may be without their most dangerous pass catcher and Mike Evans, which could shift this passing distribution. They do have a young guy, a young rookie. God, I'm going to say this man's name wrong so bad. Egbuka, I think that's how you say it, and then Shepard, and then possibly Godwin. So Baker been letting it fly too. So that's what he's kind of known for. But I still think if Mike Evans doesn't play in this game, I don't really. And this is no disrespect to him, but I felt like he would be the one that do the most to us. But then we seen what we did to him last year. What Quinyon was put on him. So him not playing is huge for us, man. Even with Tristan Wirfs, if he tries to come back, I understand. But if he's out, another player that big time that they need. But I feel like we can have the advantage on the defensive line with that. So I think Tampa Bay is a really good team, like I said. But I think this could be the week where they take their first loss. The Philadelphia secondary may be tested more heavily if Jacorian Bennett and Dory Jackson are limited or unavailable. This could expose them to mismatches, especially with wide receivers like Egbuka and Shepard. I'm thinking they might have Quinyon travel like they did this past week, depending if Keely Ringo plays, which is a player that we ain't really been talking about because he hasn't. To be honest with you, he's been third string, so we weren't really looking for him to play. But this could be a big opportunity, and I didn't even have this in my notes. Now I'm just thinking about it, but this could be a very big opportunity for Keely Ringo, who was drafted to this team to be the cornerback too, didn't take advantage of his situation, and now he has two players in front of him who are injured. But this is the time to show what you've been doing behind the scenes. Have you just been sitting there, twiddling your thumbs, which I don't think he has, man. But this is the time to show, like, yo, I deserve to be here. I deserve that spot. If he can go out there, win Vic Fangio's trust over, this could be a turning point for that cornerback 2 position. But then also, I know what Keely Ringo's been doing. If he can just maintain and play his position, not tackle, tackling, missing tackles, and then getting yards after the catch. We don't want any of that. If he can just keep his guy in front of him, I'm cool with that. Nobody's 100%. But as long as Kelee Ringo can do the job to the best of his ability, I will not complain. So I'm looking forward to see if Kelee Ringo plays. Now that I said that, so we'll see. The key matchups that I have here are Jalen Hurts, the Eagles' offense versus the Tampa Bay secondary, of course. As we know, Hurts is the engine of this offense, dual threat with the ability to hurt defenses in multiple ways, with his legs, with his arm. I know people don't want to give my man credit for his arm talent, but 226 yards in the second half should tell you, in 3 touchdowns, let's say that too, should tell you more than enough that you need to know my quarterback is like that. On the receiving side, A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith remain the focal point. Smith faces a Bucs pass defense currently allowing 213 yards per game, which is 19th in the league. Brown has shown explosiveness. Tampa Bay has given up receiving touchdowns to a few players this season, but not many massive single-game yardage performances. This could be one of those games like AJ kind of had in that second half, where he can go for 106 yards, if not Devonta Smith too. One of those guys, if not both of those guys, are going to go for 100-plus yards, man. I don't think that the Tampa Bay defense can contain both of these guys. And we really ain't been talking about Jahan Dotson as well. He can be another focal point that they try to, get involved into this offensive scheme or this offensive plan this upcoming week against Tampa Bay. So looking forward to seeing that. I'm so sorry. I was trying to see where I left off at, but if the Eagles' offensive line is healthy, will need to sustain runs and protect Hurts, especially versus a front that can generate pressure. We haven't really been seeing Saquon get off for any runs. This past week, it was like I said, this whole week was weird because they put Matt Pryor in instead of Fred Johnson, who I know is a swing tackle, and I know I feel like he's played that position before, if I'm not mistaken, last year. I didn't know what that was. I don't know who made that call, but I thought that was silly. I think also with Landon Dickerson being injured and trying to come back and play on that meniscus, it's kind of affecting the lanes and the gaps, as well as Lane Johnson now, if he plays or if he doesn't play. Something else that can affect, Lane Johnson would be out and Fred Johnson would be in for him. But you know what I'm saying? Just Lane Johnson being out, Fred stepping in, hopefully like he can just contain and keep the gaps open for the pass. Not for the pass, but for the run as well. So we'll see. But Tampa Bay's offense and Baker Mayfield versus the Eagles defense. And I have here, with Evans likely out and Godwin uncertain, Tampa's passing game may rely on Emeka Ibuka and Sterling Shepard and younger wide receivers that they have. Mayfield has posted a strong passer rating this season and seems comfortable managing comebacks. Now, I said this before, you don't never want to be the team that has to do what they had to do last week and have a walk-off field goal, and I'm talking about the Bucs here, walk-off field goal, and you know what I mean, and win like that. So I feel like, like I said, with the players out, the Philadelphia Eagles should have that advantage over them. So moving on, the Eagles defense will look to pin their ears back, hunt for pressure, force mistakes, and test the depth of Tampa's wide receiver room. The battle in the trenches versus the O-lines, pass rush and protection will be vital, will be critical. That's the first line of defense, man. We've seen what happened, especially with us when our offensive line was not, just that one side was complicated. You had Hurts getting hit and things like that. We want to be on the other side of that and causing and generating the pressure. It's been a little bit since I ain't gonna say it's been a little bit, but I don't feel like the edges are getting home like they should be. So I'm hoping to see something this week, man, from Uche or Hunt, Nolan Smith, any of them guys. What's my man name? Cash doll boyfriend, Smith. So I'm hoping to see that as well. So, but yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. So, excuse me. Moving on, I have the run game and defensive fronts. Like I said before, if Philadelphia can establish the run with Barkley or anybody else, still haven't seen Tank Bigsby back there behind that line yet. But it could open up the play action and keep Tampa on his heels. Conversely, Tampa's defensive front has done well versus the run. So we'll see what they can do, man. We'll see if they can shake loose with Saquon Barkley or any of the running backs. Special teams and turnovers may again decide swinging moments. Philly's blocked kick return was implicable. So emblematic. Excuse me, that's an implicable. My fault, y'all. Can read it too fast. My fault. But just, and I'm not going to sit there and say that's going to be something that we have in our toolbox now, because every kicker doesn't kick the same. I know they said something about the angle of the kick that the kicker was kicking on was kind of low. So if they can figure out that this kicker kicks low too, and they can block some field goals, this could be something else that we have in our pocket, man, our back pocket. So hoping to see that with JD and Jalen Carter. Secondary, and then matchups of corners and wide receivers. With Philly's cornerback uncertainties, Tampa may test those matchups, especially with Mbuka, who is a promising young target. Deep ball matchups are interesting. If the Eagles can maintain zone coverage or man-to-man on the outside, they can bottle up the explosive plays. Coaching and in-game adjustments. Nick Sirianni and Todd Bowles will each have to adjust how aggressive to call plays, how to adapt based on injuries or momentum shifts. As you've seen, it was a momentum shift coming out that second half, and then they showed the clip of Jalen Hurts. You feel what I'm saying? Talking to the offensive coordinator, and then he finally gets the pass to A.J. Brown, and the whole stadium erupts, and then it just went on from there. So it could be anything, like field goal, miss a field goal, key moment. We're close in the game. It could be anything that switched the momentum, but we just got to make sure the momentum is for us. It's pushing us in the right direction, and not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So statistics that I have here. Third down and red zone defense. Tampa has been limiting third down conversions. Jets only converted 27% in their game and regularly forced 4th and 1 stops. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case for Philadelphia, because we're going to pull out that touch push if we need a 4th and 1. So we should be okay there. Plus, I feel like even if they don't run the touch push, Saquon or the running back should be able to pick up 2 to 3 yards. I feel like with this defensive line, if they're playing well enough. So we'll see about that. The run defense, Tampa has stifled rush attacks. If Philly's run game struggles, the Eagles will be more one-dimensional, which I'm for sure that's what Todd Bowles wants to do. I'm gonna say his name wrong, but the kicker McLaughlin has shown length, leg strength, 50+ attempts, which matters in a close game. Tampa has not allowed many 100+ yard receivers this season, which I said before, and then Philly has shown resilience. Tampa has closed tight games. So we'll see, man. It's the battle of two teams that are both undefeated, but somebody will be walking out of here with a loss, and I know it ain't finna be us. You already know. So let me see here. I got a couple more things here for y'all. I got some predictions. If Philly secondary can hold up, and that's if I don't know if they're playing or not. I had Jacorian Bennett and Adoree Jackson, which I know are both going to be out. So if Keely Ringo can hold up, they can contain Tampa's pass game and avoid giving up chunk plays. They might even try to decide maybe moving Cooper to the outside if they need some more depth out there. Hopefully it doesn't get to that point, because I like Cooper in the nickel. But if Tampa can't reliably pass without Evans, the Eagles could load the box and dare them to beat them via the run or short pass. That plays into Philly's strength. The Eagles' ability to protect Hurts and sustain drives will be crucial. If the O-line is weakened, a.k.a. Johnson being out, that could tilt the balance, as we seen last week. Whoever wins the turnover/special teams battle may win this game. In close games, coaching adjustments or momentum plays, like I said, blocks, kicks, and explosive plays can swing this. My lean is Eagles to win this one, perhaps by a field goal, maybe something like 27-24. But then I also feel like it could be like it's either going to be a close game for the Philadelphia Eagles or an explosive offensive showing, and they win. You feel what I'm saying? Because I feel like now with what's been talked about this past week with the offensive coordinator and what they want him to do, I think it's about that time to just, give the players what they want. Probably don't want to show too much, but just enough to win the game. So we'll see, man. But if you like what you heard here today, you're not a subscriber, please like, comment, and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. I'm your host, Niall Frazier. Please be on the lookout. I don't know if I'm going to make a video tomorrow because I'm going to get ready for my trip and all that down to Florida. But I will be in attendance for the Tampa Bay game. I will be going live. We could talk, whatever the case may be. But if you have any questions or you got any thoughts, please drop them in the comments. Like I said, I greatly appreciate it. And one more thing, for your 3-0 Birds, baby. Can I get a go Birds, y'all? I'ma holla at y'all, man. Y'all be safe.